Hello and welcome to another AcoBloom podcast. So for today's episode, we're moving to the shores of UK and we're talking about a subject that's been keen to a lot of business owners and accounting practices in the country, and it's about making tax digital, or MTD. It's been a while. It's taken a while. A lot of people have been waiting for the implementation, but the month of April has brought this mandate in the front of accounting practices and business owners. So this new rule brings in a lot of key provisions and laws that businesses have to take care of, and a lot of these questions are going to be answered during this podcast. And joining me today, I have Ashish Nagpal, a very special guest. Hello, Ashish.
Hi, Benjamin.
So Ashish is Associate Vice President of UK Accounting for AcoBloom, and Ashish has been working with accounting practices over the years, so he has a lot of knowledge on this subject and will give his keen insights into this subject. So great to have you, Ashish.
Same here, Benjamin. Thanks for having me in this podcast.
So MTD it's been a while, we've been hearing about it, and businesses have been sort of waiting for this day. Tell us now that it's live, how does this affect businesses?
So I think now we can officially say that the whole buzz around MTD is now practical. So, the window for delaying decisions is now closed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no longer theoretical for all the self-employed businesses and landlords who are in the qualifying thresholds.
Mm-hmm.
So it is practical, it is implementing, and it is implementing at the fast pace.
Okay.
So for any self-employed businesses and landlords falling within the thresholds, so they do have to, opt for an HMRC compliant software, do their digital bookkeeping, do the quarterly submissions, and then do a final annual declaration.
Okay.
So for any businesses that were earlier relying on, the traditional accounting, doing the spreadsheets, So in the UK, I would say there are still businesses which are doing the bookkeeping and accounting over the spreadsheets, and they're just relying on the annual practice, right?
Okay.
So they are not supposed to do that now.
Okay.
If they do not move rapidly, they would fall behind.
Okay. So essentially everything is moving to the digital.
Yes. So that is the main aim of MTD. It started with MTD for VAT, and now it is live for MTD for income tax, for self-assessment, right? For the self-employed people and for the landlords.
So Ashish, let's come to the challenges that business often encounter when coming to it, when talking about MTD. So the first thing is probably the phased implementation. The years and the deadlines that have approached businesses.
The thresholds have always been the talking point.
Okay.
So initially what happened, there were some assessments that were being done on whom to be, implemented, on what persons or what individuals will be brought under the purview.
Right.
But now what we have is a phased implementation.
Okay.
So I think if we talk about the current scenario, Benjamin, it is in practice already, as I mentioned, right? Yeah. And if we talk about the phased implementation, so the first phase has now started.
Okay.
So it applies to individuals and landlords earning above 50K, above £50,000, right? So what actually surprises the people is that it's the gross income on which you have to be, on which you will be assessed, right? It is not the net income. So, if one feels that after deducting the expenses, the income is falling below the threshold, so that's not the case. So if your gross income is above that threshold, so you would be brought under the purview. Right?
So it's very tricky.
Yes, exactly. That's the tricky part. And if we talk about the second phase of this implementation, it would be implemented for the individuals and the landlords who are earning above 30K.
Okay.
So it is already in practice, but yes, it would be implemented from the next year.
Okay.
So eventually for the individuals who are earning above 20K, so those would also be brought under the purview. Okay. So that is why we have a phased implementation approach for this MTD, the rollout. And obviously, if we talk about the digital record keeping, that's an absolute yes.
Okay.
And no second thoughts about it. You have to do that. And obviously, if there's a person who is a small landlord, who has a very small self-employed business, and if he feels that, presently he is in the scope, or presently if he's not in the scope, things would not remain the same for him for very long. So it's going to change, and it's going to change quite, I would say, early. So that's how it is. Another important thing which I would also like to mention here is that the income from the self-employed business and the property income combined would be checked or assessed for the implementation.
So it's also the combined income. It's not just
it's not just one income. So for instance, if a person from self-employed business is earning 30,000 and from the property business he's earning 20,000 or a bit more than 20,000, then the MTD would be applicable to him or her.
So we've talked about the deadlines, and now obviously there'll be a lot of businesses. I read a report somewhere saying that businesses, there are very few businesses who are actually adopting the new digital systems. So for these self-employed people and for businesses that are now running behind, what should be their next course of action?
So obviously there are three main focus areas, or I should say that there are three prerequisites. Right? So first and the foremost being, just to check the eligibility and just to check that whether you fall under the purview. And I think the main important point here is to understand what I said earlier, that you need to check your gross income and not the net income. Right? So if you are in that scope and if you want to opt for an MTD, right, the other important point to note is that it is not automatic. So HMRC enrollment is not happening on its own. So you have to get yourself registered either through your own gateway account, or maybe you can ask your agent to do that, or obviously EcoBloom can also help you with that. Right? So that is the first and the foremost step that you have to do. And if we talk about the second key area or the second focus point, is to also organize your records. Right? So for any manual records that you were following earlier, for any manual records in terms of the invoices, the bills, any of the expense reimbursements, so that should all go digital. Right? And the other area, I should say that it should have been on the second point, but so the other area which needs equal importance is opting for an HMRC compliant or approved software. Obviously, because the digital record keeping would be done only on a software, right? So it can be any approved software like Xero, QuickBooks, or any of the bridging tools that is being recognized by HMRC. Right? So enrollment is something which you have to keep in mind, that it is not going to happen automatic, and you have to organize your records. So if any of the businesses are still relying on that, the spreadsheets or any of the traditional methods of accounting, they should just say them, I would say, goodbye. So they have to, opt on the digital records, and that is what is the need of the hour actually.
So while it might seem simple at first, there are a lot of technicalities and requirements involved in moving digital. It's not an easy process where a business can just go and get registered, and they require some support in this process.
I think it should be happening as and when you start, right? So I think once you start the journey, right, so you would probably get to your destination, right?
Of course.
So if you have opted for the right software, if you start to organize your records digitally, and if you start to, I would say, post the bills, if you start to post your bank transactions to the software, and then if you start doing the quarterly submissions, so everything would get fine eventually, right? Because I think the businesses, if we talk about the traditional method I just mentioned, they're still used to that, I would say, annual filing. So they earlier they just had one deadline in mind, and now it's not going to be the same, right? So I understand that the businesses which are already VAT registered have a different methodology, but yes, for the sole traders or the landlords who are still not under the VAT threshold, but falling under the MTD threshold, they have to do the quarterly submissions. So they were used to one filing, but now that's not in practice, right? So you have to do quarterly submissions followed by the annual declaration. So I think it's just a matter of getting yourself accustomed to the process, and obviously once you start doing it, once you have done that for 2 or 3 good quarters, you would fall in place.
And it's actually, in a way, beneficial for businesses as well.
Exactly, yeah. So I think that is, you should always take it in a positive manner.
Yeah.
So for any of the unorganized businesses, any of the unorganized individuals, it is actually an opportunity for them to organize their records, to be more compliant.
Yes.
And actually, it's going to help them a lot in their future financing requirements too.
Of course,
right?
Yes.
If they have to possibly scale at some level, and if they have to look for a loan or something, right? So if they have the digital records, if they have everything in place, it's going to be very much beneficial for them.
Yeah, it makes things so transparent as well.
Exactly, yeah. So you would have clear visibility of your business. So you don't have to open an Excel spreadsheet every time, right? You just go to that software, you just search for the transaction, you just fetch the reports, and everything is transparent.
So Ashish, now that we've covered our basics, let's tell us a little bit about the industries that are going to be impacted. Is there some kind of difference of how the implementation is going to be? And also tell us a little bit about how AcoBloom can help these industries or these businesses, get compliant.
Yeah, Benjamin, that's an equally important question, right? I think the main pain point would not be, getting themselves accustomed to the rules, but it would be in relation to the implementation, right? Irrespective of whichever business you are managing.
Okay.
So let's say, for instance, if you have got a property business, if an individual has got a property business, and along with that, he's also possibly running a consulting service as a freelancer, right? So that person would also be falling under the purview, right? So irrespective of every business, MTD is going to apply to all of the people, right? And obviously, your income needs to be under that qualifying threshold,
right?
So if we talk about how AcoBloom can help, so I think that's also an interesting point. So the first and the foremost thing on which AcoBloom can provide its assistance is the eligibility assessment. So we would help you identify first that if you are fully prepared, if you are partly prepared, or if you have to start from scratch. But yes, starting from scratch is something that shouldn't be existing at this point of time, because we are in the implementation phase already.
It's late in the game.
Yes, we are already late in the game, right? So for every individual, we have to just check that how prepared you are, right? So once that is checked, we would help you in identifying the right software. Obviously, we have to keep into consideration your cost constraints, right? How much budget you can allocate to that software. And once we have identified that, we would do the transitioning from the manual record keeping to the digital record keeping. And the last point, but not the least, would be the deadlines, right? So if we talk about the quarterly submissions, so AcoBloom can take care of that, right? So we would be providing real-time assistance in doing the quarterly submissions, followed by the annual declaration as well. So the main essence of this practice is to take your stress away out of this MTD process, right? So we are here to assist you in real time, proactively, and not in a reactive manner.
So we basically take care of all the pain points, as it were.
Exactly.
And we take care of all the services. So that's it for now. We've covered MTD, and it's an important subject, I think, for UK businesses to get to get an understanding of. And we've discussed this with Ashish, and Ashish has very clearly stated all the requirements for businesses. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us on this podcast, and thank you Ashish for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Benjamin.
It was a pleasure, Ashish, to
Same
have
here. Pleasure is all mine.
So if you have any questions, please visit our website acobloom.com, and feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. From all of us here at AcoBloom, have a great day. Goodbye.